The morning sun touched the glass dome of Research Station Daedalus 7. Inside the greenhouse, 7-year-old Hannah pressed her nose against the transparent wall. She watched the purple sky of New Scylla turn orange with dawn. "Look, Daddy." Hannah pointed at a strange plant with blue leaves. It grew bigger. Her father Taemin knelt beside her. He was a scientist who studied alien plants. His white coat had dirt on the sleeves from working in the soil. "You have good eyes, Hannah. That plant is from the southern continent. It likes our care," Hannah smiled. She loved spending mornings with her father in the greenhouse. The station was small, only 30 people lived here. Everyone knew everyone. It felt safe. It felt like home. Outside the greenhouse, the research station stretched across the valley, white buildings connected by covered walkways. Beyond the station, alien forests grew thick and wild. New Scylla was a young colony world. Humans had been here only 5 years. "Time for breakfast," Taemin said. He took Hannah's hand. They walked through the corridor toward the dining hall. In the security office, Jiwoo watched the morning sensor readings. Everything looked normal. He was a quiet man, mid-30s, with kind eyes and an easy smile. The other security guards respected him, though he never said much about his past. Jiwoo finished his patrol checklist. He stood and stretched. Time to check the outer perimeter. As he walked through the station, he passed Hannah and her father. "Mr. Jiwoo." Hannah ran to him. She always smiled when she saw him. "Good morning, Hannah." Jiwoo knelt to her level. "Did you check on your plants?" "Yes, the blue one grew. Will you show me more Earth animals today?" Jiwoo nodded. "After my patrol, I have a new one to show you." "A honey badger. What's that?" "A small animal, but very brave. It protects its family from anything, even big animals." Hannah's eyes grew wide. "Even elephants?" "Even elephants," Jiwoo smiled. "I will show you later." Taemin watched the exchange with a grateful smile. Jiwoo was good with children, patient and gentle. It was hard to imagine him as anything else. Later that afternoon, Jiwoo found Hannah in the recreation room. He activated a holographic display. A small stocky animal appeared in the air between them. It had gray and white fur, small ears, and powerful claws. "This is a honey badger," Jiwoo explained. "They live in Africa and Asia on Earth." The hologram showed the honey badger digging. Then it showed one fighting off a group of much larger animals. "It's so small," Hannah said. "How can it fight big animals?" "It never gives up," Jiwoo said quietly. "When something threatens its family, it fights with everything it has. Size does not matter. Fear does not matter. Only protecting what it loves matters." Hannah watched the hologram with fascination. "I like honey badgers." "Me too," Jiwoo said. There was something distant in his eyes, like he was remembering something from long ago. That evening, Hannah sat with her mother, Bora, in their quarters. Bora was an astrophysicist. She studied the stars and helped navigate ships through space. "Mommy, Mr. Jiwoo showed me a honey badger today." "Did he?" Bora smiled while brushing Hannah's hair. "What did you learn?" "That small things can be brave. That protecting family is most important." Bora's hands paused for a moment. She looked at her daughter with soft eyes. "That is true. Very true." In the command center, Station Commander Hyun-soo reviewed reports with his staff. He was a former military officer, now in charge of keeping the research station safe and running smoothly. "There are more raider attacks in the neighboring sectors," one officer reported. 3 mining operations hit in the last month." Hyun-soo frowned. "What species?" "Valkyrie. They are expanding their territory, taking what they want from weaker colonies. We are not a mining operation. We are scientists. No valuable resources here. True, but we are isolated. If they come, help is days away." Hyun-soo nodded slowly. "Increase sensor range. I want early warning if anything approaches. And talk to Jiwoo. Get his opinion on defensive positions." The officer looked curious. "Jiwoo is just a security contractor. Why ask him?" Hyun-soo gave a small smile. "Jiwoo is not just anything, trust me. If trouble comes, we want him ready." That night, Jiwoo stood alone on the outer observation deck. He looked up at the stars. New Scylla had 2 moons. They cast silver light across the alien landscape. He had come to this frontier world seeking peace. After years of war, after too many battles, he wanted quiet. He wanted to protect people by preventing problems, not by fighting. But old instincts never truly sleep. He noticed things others missed. The way shadows fell, The patterns in sensor data, small details that spoke of potential danger. Jiwoo flexed his hands. They were steady. Always steady. Even after everything, they never shook. He thought about Hana, her bright smile, her innocent questions. Children like her were why he had fought in the first place. Why he had done terrible things to terrible people, to make a world where children could grow up safe. The honey badger was a good choice to show her. It represented something important. Not aggression. Not violence for its own sake, but the absolute refusal to let harm come to those under your protection. Jiwoo hoped he would never need to be that animal again, but if he did, he would not hesitate. The next morning started like any other. Hana ate breakfast with her parents. Taemin reviewed his research notes. Bora calculated orbital paths. Jiwoo completed his patrol. At 10:47 station time, alarms blared. In the command center, Hyun-soo stared at his displays. Multiple contacts. Coming in fast. No response to hails. Jiwoo entered the command center at a run. How many? 5 ships. Unknown configuration. Hyun-soo's face was pale. They are not slowing down. Jiwoo looked at the sensor display. His expression did not change, but something shifted in his eyes. Something cold and ancient. Raiders, he said quietly. Get everyone to the main commons now. We should try to negotiate. There is no time. They are already jamming communications. Move now. The authority in Jiwoo's voice made Hyun-soo act without thinking. He activated the station-wide alert. Throughout the station, people stopped what they were doing. Scientists, engineers, families. They moved quickly but calmly toward the designated assembly point. Hana held her mother's hand tightly. Mommy, what is happening? We have visitors, Bora said. Her voice was steady, but her grip on Hana's hand was firm. Stay close to me. Outside, 5 angular ships descended. They were dark and scarred. Battleships. The lead vessel fired once. The station's shield generator exploded in a shower of sparks. Jiwoo watched through the command center windows. His jaw tightened. He recognized those ships. Valkyrie raiders, brutal, efficient. They took what they wanted and destroyed what they did not need. The ships landed. Boarding ramps extended. Armed figures emerged. They were tall, covered in gray scales with 4 arms and cold yellow eyes. Valkyrie, Jiwoo confirmed. He moved to the weapons locker. His movements were smooth and practiced. He checked a rifle, then deliberately set it down. He took only a small sidearm, hiding it in his jacket. Why so little firepower? Hyun-soo asked. Because showing weapons makes them shoot first. Jiwoo's voice was calm. Too calm. We need to see what they want. Keep everyone calm. I will assess the situation. The Valkyrie breached the main airlock in seconds. They moved through the station like they owned it. Within minutes, they had everyone gathered in the commons. Their leader, Velcros, stood before the frightened humans. He was larger than his soldiers, with intricate patterns scarred into his scales. A sign of battles won. Peace had ended. Something terrible was about to begin. Velcros looked at the gathered humans with contempt. 30 soft-skinned creatures. Scientists and families. Weak. Pathetic. His raid would be easy. I am Velcros, he announced in heavily accented human speech. You are now under Valkyrie authority. Resist and die. Cooperate and live. Simple choice, Hyun-soo stepped forward. His military training told him to stay calm. To negotiate. We are peaceful researchers. We have no weapons. No valuable resources. There is nothing here worth taking. Velcros laughed. It was an ugly sound. You have food, medical supplies, technology. And you will tell me where other human colonies hide their treasures. He gestured to his soldiers. Search everything. The Valkyrie spread through the commons. They shoved people aside. Grabbed equipment. One struck an elderly scientist who moved too slowly. Jiwoo stood near the back of the group. He watched everything. Counted enemies. Noted their weapons. Mapped exit routes. His face showed nothing, but his mind was working. 13 raiders. Standard Valkyrie assault rifles. Body armor with weak points at joints. Their leader wore ceremonial armor, heavier but slower. They were confident, sloppy. They had done this many times before. Hana pressed against her mother. She had never seen aliens like these. Their eyes were cold, their movements rough. She was scared. Bora wrapped her arms around her daughter. She caught Jiwoo's eye across the room. He gave the smallest shake of his head. Not yet. Stay calm. One of the Velkari soldiers approached Jiwoo. "You, security uniform. Where are weapons?" Jiwoo met his gaze steadily. "Weapons locker. Level 2. East corridor," the soldier sneered. "Weak human. You give up so easily." He pushed Jiwoo backward. Jiwoo stumbled, let himself fall, showed submission. The soldier laughed and moved on. But Jiwoo had felt the soldier's strength, measured his reaction time, noted how the armor plates shifted when he moved. Information. Data. Preparation. 30 minutes passed. The raiders gathered supplies. They found the research data, medical equipment, food stores. They loaded it all onto carts to take to their ships. Velcros seemed pleased. This was easier than expected. Humans truly were soft. No fight at all. Then he noticed Hyun-soo watching him with barely hidden anger. The human commander was older. Former military, perhaps. Velcros decided to teach a lesson. To break any thought of resistance, Velcros pointed at Hyun-soo. You have files. Secure files. Locations of other colonies. Defense codes. You will give them to me. I cannot. That information is classified, protected. Velcros walked slowly toward Hyun-soo. Cannot or will not. He looked around the room. His eyes fell on Hana. The little girl was trying to be brave, but tears ran down her cheeks. She was terrified. Velcro smiled. A cruel expression. Perhaps you need motivation. He gestured to his lieutenant Thrix. Bring the child. Everything changed in that moment. Thrix moved toward Hana. Bora pulled her daughter closer. No, do not touch her. Thrix shoved Bora aside. She fell hard. Taemin lunged forward. Get away from my daughter. A Velkari soldier struck Taemin across the face. He crashed to the floor, blood streaming from his nose. Thrix grabbed Hana by the arm. His claws dug into her small limb. She cried out in pain and fear. The atmosphere in the room shifted. The other humans were no longer just afraid. They were angry. A parent nearby took a step forward. Another balled their fists. Even the scientists, peaceful people who studied plants and stars, looked ready to fight. Bora scrambled to her feet. Her eyes found Jiwoo. She gave him a look. Permission, plea, desperation, do something. Save her, please. Jiwoo had been still as stone, watching, waiting. Now he moved forward. Just 2 steps. His entire presence changed. The quiet security guard disappeared. Something else took his place. Something that made the nearest Velkari soldier instinctively step back without knowing why. Let the child go. Jiwoo's voice was flat, empty of emotion. That made it more frightening than any shout would have been. Velcros turned to look at him. This human dared speak, dared make demands. What did you say, human? Let the child go. Each word was precise, clear, final. Last chance. Velcros laughed. His soldiers joined in. A human threatening them? These weak, soft creatures who fell at a push? Ridiculous or what, little human? You will ask nicely again? Velcros waved dismissively. Thrix, hold the child tighter. Let her father see what happens when humans refuse us. Thrix's claws tightened on Hana's arm. She screamed. That scream was the sound that ended everything. Jiwoo moved. Later, witnesses would struggle to describe what happened. He was across the room. Then he was not. The nearest Velkari soldier was standing. Then he was falling, neck broken, before anyone realized Jiwoo had moved. Jiwoo caught the falling soldier, used the body as a shield. 3 other raiders fired. Their shots hit their dead comrade. Jiwoo was already moving, using the corpse for cover as he closed distance. He released the body, rolled, came up inside the weapon range of 2 soldiers. His hand struck like a snake. One raider's weapon clattered to the ground. Jiwoo caught it before it hit the floor. 3 shots, 3 dead raiders. The weapon was alien design, but his hands knew weapons. Any weapon, all weapons. The other humans scattered for cover. They knew suddenly and completely that their quiet security guard was not what he had seemed. He was death wearing a kind face. Velcro shouted orders. His soldiers spread out. They were trained warriors. They had conquered worlds, but confusion showed in their movements. This was not supposed to happen. Jiwoo moved through them like water through cracks, always where they did not expect. His stolen rifle barked. Raiders fell. When the rifle ran empty, he used it as a club. When it broke, he used his hands. A Velkari charged him with a blade. Jiwoo sidestepped, caught the arm, used the raider's own momentum to drive the blade into another soldier's throat. Tae-min, blood still flowing from his broken nose, saw a raider aiming at Jiwoo from behind. Without thinking, the peaceful scientist grabbed a heavy tool from a fallen supply cart. He swung with all his strength. The raider dropped. Tae-min stared at his hands. He had never hurt anyone before, but they had touched his daughter, hurt his daughter, and something ancient in his human brain said, "Protect the young." At any cost, other humans joined the fight. An engineer grabbed a pipe. A botanist used a chemical spray. They were not warriors, but they were parents. They were humans, and someone had threatened their children. Through the chaos, Jiwoo moved with terrible purpose. His eyes never left Thrix. The lieutenant still held Hana, still had his claws on her arm. Jiwoo cut through the raiders like they were paper. Nothing stopped him. Not armor, not numbers, not weapons fire. Thrix finally understood. He looked into Jiwoo's eyes as the human approached. What he saw there made his blood freeze. This was not anger, not rage. It was something colder, more certain. Thrix had conquered dozens of species, killed hundreds, but he had never felt like prey before, not until this moment. "Please," Thrix said. He released Hana, pushed her toward her mother. "Please, Mercy." Jiwoo caught Hana gently, checked her arm. The bruises were already forming. His jaw tightened. He passed Hana to Bora without taking his eyes off Thrix. "You should have listened," Jiwoo said quietly. What happened next was quick. Thrix did not suffer long, but he suffered enough. Velcros watched his lieutenant die, watched half his raiding party fall in minutes. These were supposed to be weak creatures, easy prey. He had made a terrible mistake. "Retreat," Velcros shouted. "Back to the ships." The remaining raiders ran. They had never run before, never felt the need. But the small human with the empty eyes was still moving, still killing, and they suddenly knew they would all die if they stayed. Velcros made it to the airlock. His remaining soldiers piled through after him. The door sealed behind them. Inside the commons, silence fell. Bodies of Velkari raiders littered the floor. A few humans had injuries. Minor ones. Nothing serious. Jiwoo stood in the center of it all. Blood covered his clothes. None of it was his. He took a deep breath. Then another. The terrible emptiness in his eyes faded. The gentleman returned. He walked to where Hana sat with her mother. Knelt down. "Are you hurt?" Hana looked at him with wide eyes. She had seen what he did, seen him become something frightening, but she was only 7. She understood it simply. "You saved me." "Always," Jiwoo said softly. "Like the honey badger, we protect our family." Outside, engines roared. The Velkari ships lifted off, but they did not leave. They circled. Velcros was not done. He had reinforcements, heavy weapons. He would destroy the station and everyone in it. Jiwoo stood, looked at Yunsu. "Get everyone to the shelter, deep as possible." "What are you going to do?" Jiwoo smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Finish this." Jiwoo ran through the corridors. His mind was clear, focused. He had done this before, many times, in places far worse than this quiet research station. He reached the weapons locker, entered his code. The door opened. Inside were rifles, ammunition, and basic defense equipment. Nothing military grade, but enough. He grabbed a rifle, spare magazines, a combat knife. Then he moved to the security console. His fingers flew across the controls. The station had defensive capabilities. Minimal but present. The Velkari ships were circling. Getting into position. They would fire on the station. Try to break it apart. Kill everyone inside, not if he acted first. Jiwoo activated the automated turrets. They were designed to shoot space debris, small rocks that might damage the station, not warships. But at close range, with the right targeting, they could damage engines. Weapon systems, he marked targets, assigned priorities. Then he activated the sequence. Outside, the turret swiveled. Locked on, fired. The Velkari were not expecting resistance. Their shields were down. Why waste power defending against a defenseless station? The first ship took 3 direct hits to its engine core. Explosions rippled across its hull. It lurched sideways, crashed into another Velkari vessel. Both ships went down in a tangle of metal and fire. The second ship managed to raise shields, but too late. Turret fire punched through its weapon ports. Secondary explosions tore through its interior. The ship spun out of control, hit the ground a kilometer from the station. That left 3 ships. Velcros was in one of them. Jiwoo could see it on his sensors. The command vessel, larger, better armored. The remaining ships scattered, raised full shields. They were firing back now. Energy blasts hammered the station. Walls shook. Lights flickered. Jiwoo shut down the turrets. They had done their job. Now he needed a different approach. He checked his rifle, made sure it was loaded. Then he left the security center. He moved toward the downed ships. If Valkyrie were alive in the wreckage, they were a threat. If they had supplies or weapons, he needed them. The station main airlock opened. Jiwoo stepped out onto the alien soil of New Scylla. The purple sky was filled with smoke. The crashed ships burned in the distance. He moved across the open ground. Fast but careful. The 3 remaining ships were still up there. They could target him, but they seemed confused, reorganizing, trying to understand how soft humans had destroyed 2 warships. Jiwoo reached the first crashed ship. The hull was torn open. Inside, emergency lights flickered. He could hear movement, survivors. He entered the wreck. A Valkyrie soldier stumbled toward him, wounded and disoriented. Jiwoo did not hesitate. 1 shot. The raider fell. He moved deeper. Found 3 more survivors. They were preparing weapons, getting ready to attack the station on foot. They never got the chance. Jiwoo cleared the ship room by room. When he was done, he took what he needed. Better weapons, grenades, a heavier vest. Then he moved to the second crashed ship. This one was in worse shape. The crash had been hard. Most of the crew were dead. But he found 1 Valkyrie alive, trapped under debris. The raider looked at Jiwoo with fear. "Please," the Valkyrie said. "I surrender. I will not fight." Jiwoo studied him for a long moment. "You came to my home. You threatened a child. There is no surrender." The raider closed his eyes, accepted his fate. Jiwoo left the wreck. Above, the 3 remaining ships had finished regrouping. They were coming back, weapons charging. This time they would not be careless. But Jiwoo had something they did not expect. One of the crashed ships was still mostly intact. Its weapons were offline, but its engines still had power. He climbed aboard, strapped into the pilot seat. The controls were alien, but he understood the basics. All ships worked on similar principles: thrust, direction, navigation. The engines whined to life. The ship shuddered, then lifted. In the command ship above, Velcro stared at his displays in disbelief. One of his crashed vessels was flying. "How? Target that ship," he ordered. "Destroy it!" But Jiwoo was already moving. He pushed the damaged ship toward the nearest Valkyrie vessel. The raiders fired. Energy blasts tore into the hull. Alarms screamed. The ship was dying. Jiwoo did not care. He only needed a few more seconds. He aimed the ship directly at the Valkyrie vessel, locked the controls. Then he jumped. The 2 ships collided. The explosion lit up the sky. Debris rained down across the valley. Another enemy ship destroyed. Jiwoo hit the ground hard. The fall from the ship had been bad. His shoulder hurt, probably dislocated. He popped it back into place with a grunt. Stood up, kept moving. 2 ships left. Velcros and 1 other. The remaining ships landed. They were not running away. Velcros would not retreat twice. He was bringing the fight to the ground, where numbers and armor would matter. Boarding ramps extended. Valkyrie soldiers poured out, at least 20 of them. They spread out, moving in formation. These were not the careless raiders from before. These were real warriors. Jiwoo watched from cover. He was 1 man. They were many. They had heavy weapons, air support. This was not a fight he could win directly, so he would not fight directly. He moved through the alien forest, using the trees for cover. The Valkyrie were advancing on the station, but he circled around them, got behind them. The first soldier never knew what hit him. A knife in the dark, silent, quick. Jiwoo dragged the body into the bushes, took the soldier weapon, moved on. The second and third fell the same way. The Valkyrie formation was spreading thin. Too much ground to cover, too many places to hide. By the time they realized they were being hunted, 5 were already dead. The remaining soldiers grouped together. Back to back, watching all directions, Jiwoo threw a grenade. It landed in their midst. They scattered. He shot 3 as they ran. The others found cover, started firing back. The battle became chaos. Jiwoo moved like a ghost, never where they expected, always attacking from a new angle. The Valkyrie were trained, disciplined, but they had never fought someone like this. One by one, they fell, until only a handful remained. They retreated back to the ships. Back to Velcros. Velcro stood at the boarding ramp of his command ship. He watched his soldiers run back in terror, watched them speak in panicked voices about the demon human who would not stop. He opened his datapad, searched for information about humans, about Earth. Why had this gone so wrong? The files appeared, warnings from other species, reports from the Galactic Council. His scales went cold as he read, "Do not threaten human offspring." The warning was repeated in dozens of languages, from dozens of species, all saying the same thing. Humans were peaceful, friendly, easy to work with, until you threatened their young. Then they became something else. Something terrible. They would not stop, would not negotiate, would not show mercy. They would hunt you to the ends of space. They would sacrifice everything to eliminate the threat. There were case studies. A pirate crew that had taken human children as hostages. The entire pirate fleet was destroyed within days. Every single ship, every single crew member, dead. A slaver ring that had tried to sell human children. Human military forces tracked them across 3 systems. The operation was completely erased. No survivors. Species after species reported the same thing. Harm human children and you face extinction. Velcros felt something he had not felt in decades. Fear. Real, deep fear. He had hurt a human child. Made her cry. Made her bleed, and now the honey badger was coming for him. "Take off," he shouted to his pilot. "Now, get us out of here." The engine started. The ship began to lift. Maybe they could escape. Get back to Valkyrie space. Warn the Empire. Then the boarding ramp exploded inward. Jiwoo stood in the smoke. He had jumped onto the ramp as the ship lifted, planted explosives, blown his way in. The remaining Valkyrie soldiers opened fire. He moved through the gunfire like it was rain. Some shots missed. Some hit his stolen armor. None stopped him. He cleared the cargo bay, moved into the corridors. The ship was still gaining altitude, still trying to escape, but there was no escape. Jiwoo fought his way through the ship, room by room, deck by deck. The Valkyrie threw everything at him: soldiers, automated defenses, emergency bulkheads. Nothing worked. He reached the bridge. The door was sealed, reinforced, designed to withstand boarding actions. Jiwoo placed his last explosive charge, stepped back, detonated it. The door blew inward. Smoke filled the bridge. Through it, Jiwoo walked. His rifle was empty now. He drew the combat knife instead. Velcro stood alone. His crew was dead or hiding. He drew his own weapon, a ceremonial blade, the symbol of his rank. "Wait," Velcro said. "We can negotiate. I have resources, wealth. I can pay for my mistakes." "You made a child cry," Jiwoo said. His voice was empty again, cold. "You hurt her, made her bleed. It was a mistake. I did not know the rules. You should have known. Every species knows. Do not touch human children." Jiwoo stepped forward. "Now you pay the price." Velcros attacked. He was large, strong, his blade was sharp. But Jiwoo was something else. Something that had been forged in wars that Velcros could not imagine. The fight was brief, one-sided. When it ended, Velcros was on the floor. Jiwoo stood over him. "Please," Velcros whispered. "Mercy." Jiwoo thought about Hana, her tears, her fear, the bruises on her small arm. "No," he said. Later, when the ship crashed into the valley, there were no survivors. The last of the Valkyrie raiders were gone, erased, as if they had never existed. Jiwoo walked back to the station. The battle was over in 47 minutes. From the moment the Valkyrie had grabbed Hana to the final crash of their command ship, less than an hour had passed. Jiwoo returned to the station. He walked slowly. Each step took effort. His body was finally registering the damage: bruises, burns, a cracked rib. His hands were steady, but they hurt. The main airlock opened. Hyun-soo stood there with a medical team. They rushed forward. Jiwoo waved them off. "Check the others first," he said. "Anyone hurt?" "Minor injuries only. Taemin has a broken nose. Bora has bruises. A few others have cuts and scrapes. Nothing serious." Hyun-soo studied Jiwoo with new eyes. "You saved us." Jiwoo did not respond. He just wanted to see Hana. make sure she was truly okay. He found her in the medical bay. Bora sat with her. Taemin stood nearby, cotton stuffed in his nose to stop the bleeding. When Hana saw Jiwoo, she jumped down from the examination table and ran to him. She hugged his legs. He knelt down, ignoring the pain in his ribs, and hugged her back. "You came back," Hana said. "Always," Jiwoo said quietly. "How is your arm?" She held it up. There were bruises where Thrix had grabbed her. But the bones were not broken. "It hurts a little. But the doctor gave me medicine." "Good." Jiwoo touched the bruises gently. His jaw tightened. Then he forced himself to relax. "You were very brave. You were like the honey badger," Hana said. "Small but fierce. You protected us." Jiwoo smiled. It was a tired smile. "That is what family does." Bora approached. She put a hand on Jiwoo's shoulder. "Thank you. I knew you could help. But I did not know you were a soldier." "I was. Long time ago. I came here to leave that behind." "But you came back when we needed you," Taemin said. His voice was thick from his broken nose. "You became that person again to save my daughter." Jiwoo nodded. "I would do it again. Every time." 2 hours later, a ship appeared on the sensors. Everyone tensed. But this was not a warship. It was a diplomatic vessel, sleek, unarmed. It carried the symbols of the Galactic Council. Hyunsu opened communications. A face appeared on the screen. Not human, not Velkari. Something else. Blue skin, large eyes, 4 tentacles where a mouth should be. "I am Ambassador Kix of the Galactic Council," the alien said. His translator made his voice sound calm and professional. "We detected the battle. We came as quickly as we could." "Are there survivors?" "All humans survived," Hyunsu replied. "The Velkari did not." There was a pause. "All the raiders are dead?" "Yes," another pause. "Longer this time. I request permission to land, to investigate and provide assistance." Permission granted. Ambassador Kix arrived with a small team. They were peaceful, unarmed. They walked through the station taking notes. Recording everything, they examined the wrecked Velkari ships outside. Kix was thorough. He interviewed everyone, asked about the sequence of events, how the battle unfolded. He was particularly interested in Jiwoo. They sat in a quiet room, just the two of them. Kix studied Jiwoo with intelligent eyes. "You are a security contractor," Kix said. "But the Velkari military database shows you as Jiwoo. Former Earth Special Forces. Multiple decorations for valor. Expert in counterinsurgency and close-quarters combat." Jiwoo said nothing. "You retired 3 years ago. Came to the frontier seeking peace. But when the child was threatened, you became a soldier again." "They hurt her," Jiwoo said simply. "They made her cry. There was no choice." "No choice," Kix repeated. He made a note. "Interesting. You speak as if the response was automatic. Inevitable." "It was. Even the other humans fought," Kix continued. "Taemin is a botanist. He has never held a weapon. But he struck a Velkari warrior with a tool. Killed him. His daughter was threatened. What would you expect?" Kix was quiet for a moment. "My species does not have this response. We care for our young, but we negotiate, we trade. We would not fight an overwhelming force. We would submit and hope for mercy." "Humans are different," Jiwoo said. "We protect our children. At any cost?" "Yes, I am beginning to understand this." Kix looked at his notes. The Velkari made a critical error. They did not research human behavior. They assumed you were like other prey species. "We are not prey." "No, you are certainly not." Kix stood. "I must report this to the council. The Velkari action was illegal. Unprovoked aggression. Your response, while devastating, was justified self-defense." Jiwoo nodded. He did not care about galactic law. He cared that Hana was safe. Before leaving, Kix asked to speak with Hana. Bora brought her to the common area. The little girl looked at the strange alien with curiosity but no fear. "Hello, Hana," Kix said gently. "I am Ambassador Kix. I am here to make sure everyone is safe." "Are you a good alien?" Hana asked. "I try to be. I help different species understand each other. The other aliens were bad. They hurt my arm, I know. I am sorry that happened. Can you tell me what you remember?" Hana thought for a moment. "They were scary. Big and mean. But Mr. Jiwoo saved me. He did. He is very brave. He is like the honey badger," Hana said. She said it like it was the most important thing in the world. He showed me one before. They are small, but they protect their families from anything. Even big animals, Kix made a note. Honey badger. What is that? An earth animal, Bora explained. Small but fearless. Known for protecting their young and never backing down from threats, no matter how large. Kix searched his database, found information about honey badgers. He read it carefully. Then he looked at Jiwoo, who stood nearby. I see, Kix said slowly. An appropriate comparison. That evening, as his ship prepared to leave, Kix transmitted his preliminary report to the Galactic Council. It included all his findings, all his observations, but he ended it with a warning, a simple statement that would change how the galaxy viewed humanity. The humans call themselves the honey badgers of Earth. After witnessing their protective response, I understand why. They are peaceful until their young are threatened. Then they become unstoppable. All species must understand this. Do not threaten human children. The consequences are absolute. As Kix's ship left orbit, he received an urgent message. The Velkari Empire was mobilizing. Velkros had been an important leader. His death could not go unanswered. A fleet was being assembled, 50 warships, the largest military force the Velkari had deployed in decades. They were coming to punish humanity, to teach the humans their place. Kix tried to warn them, sent messages to the Velkari High Council, explained what had happened, explained human protective instincts. They ignored him. They believed the research station incident was a fluke, one talented human warrior against careless raiders. But a real military force would crush the humans easily. Kix sent an urgent message to the Galactic Council. The Velkari are about to learn the same lesson, but on a much larger scale. I fear for them. Back on Research Station Daedalus 7, life slowly returned to normal. The dead Velkari were buried. The damaged areas were repaired. Children played in the greenhouse again. Jiwoo sat with Hana one afternoon. They watched a hologram together. Not a honey badger this time. A dolphin, a creature of play and joy. Are all Earth animals interesting? Hana asked. Every one of them, Jiwoo said. Each has something special. But the honey badger is still my favorite. Jiwoo smiled. Mine too. Bora watched them from across the room. She understood now. Jiwoo had not just been a soldier. He had been one of the best. But he had given it up. Sought peace. Only returned to that life when absolutely necessary. She was grateful he had been there. But she also knew the truth. If Jiwoo had not been present, the other humans would have fought anyway. Taemin had already proven that. The protective instinct ran through all of them. 3 weeks later, news reached the station. The Velkari fleet had launched. 50 warships heading toward human space. Their intent was clear. Revenge, punishment, dominance. Earth military forces mobilized in response. Ships moved into position. Defense platforms activated. Diplomatic channels opened, trying to avoid war. The Velkari refused all communication. They wanted blood. Then, in a move that shocked the galaxy, the Velkari fleet bypassed military targets. They attacked a civilian transport, a ship carrying families, refugees from the outer colonies. The transport sent a distress call, then went silent. Investigation later confirmed 15 children had been among the casualties. When Jiwoo heard the news, he sat in silence for a long time. Then he stood, walked to the communication center, sent a message to his old military contacts. I am available, the message said. Tell me where you need me. Across human space, millions of others sent similar messages. Retired soldiers, veterans, even civilians with no military training. All volunteering, all ready to fight. The Velkari had made their second mistake, and this time it would cost them everything. The Velkari fleet moved through space with confidence. 50 warships, thousands of warriors. They had conquered dozens of worlds. These soft humans would learn respect. Admiral Yijun watched the enemy fleet approach on his displays. He commanded the human defensive force. 20 ships, smaller numbers. But he was not worried. His nephew had been on that civilian transport. A boy of 9 years old, bright, curious, gone now. The Velkari would learn what happens when you kill human children. Ambassador Kix watched from a neutral observer ship. The Galactic Council had sent him to document the conflict, to ensure rules of war were followed. He hoped the Velkari would come to their senses. Retreat, negotiate, they did not. The Velkari fleet opened fire first. Energy weapons lit up the darkness. Human ships scattered, began evasive maneuvers. It looked like a retreat. The Valkyrie pressed forward. This would be easy, just like always. Then the human ships that had scattered suddenly turned. They had not been retreating. They had been spreading out, creating firing positions. The first Valkyrie ship exploded, then another, then 3 more. Human weapons were precise, devastating. They targeted weak points, engine cores, shield generators, command bridges. The Valkyrie tried to regroup, but more human ships appeared. These were not on any scanner before. Stealth vessels, black operations craft that officially did not exist. The battle became a slaughter. The Valkyrie were skilled warriors, but the humans fought with something beyond skill. They fought with fury, with purpose. With the memory of dead children driving every action, Kix watched in horror. This was not a battle. This was extinction. The human military was not trying to defeat the Valkyrie. They were trying to erase them. He sent urgent messages to both sides, calling for ceasefire, for negotiations. The Valkyrie tried to respond. They wanted to surrender. The humans ignored all messages. They just kept fighting, kept destroying, kept killing. In 48 hours, the Valkyrie fleet was gone. 50 warships reduced to debris. The humans had lost 2 ships. Just 2, but the humans did not stop. Their fleet turned, began moving toward Valkyrie space. They were going to pursue, to carry the war to the Valkyrie homeworld. Kix sent a desperate message to the Galactic Council. The humans will not stop. They are going to destroy the entire Valkyrie civilization. Someone must intervene. The council tried. They sent messages to Admiral Yi Jun, begging him to stop, reminding him of galactic law, of mercy. Yi Jun replied with a simple message. They killed our children. There is no mercy. The human fleet arrived at the Valkyrie homeworld 3 days later. They took position in orbit. Every weapon pointed down at the planet's surface. Admiral Yi Jun opened a communication channel. His face appeared on every screen across the Valkyrie world. He looked tired, sad, but absolutely certain. People of Valkyrie, he said. His voice was calm. That made it more terrifying. Your military attacked our civilians, killed our children. 15 young lives taken for your pride, he paused. Let the words sink in. We are here to offer you a choice. Complete disarmament. Reparations to the families. Your government will submit to Galactic Council oversight. You will never threaten another species again. Another pause. Or we will show you what happens to species that kill human children. We will turn your world into a monument, a warning to the galaxy. Your civilization will be remembered only as an example of what not to do. The Valkyrie High Council met in emergency session. They argued. Some wanted to fight, to die with honor. Others saw the truth. The humans were not bluffing. This was not negotiation. This was a final offer. 4 hours later, the Valkyrie government surrendered. Completely, unconditionally. They agreed to every term. They had no choice. Kix arrived to oversee the transition. The once mighty Valkyrie Empire was now under council supervision. Their military disbanded, their weapons destroyed, their pride broken. He met with Admiral Yi Jun before the human fleet left. Do you feel this was justice? Kix asked. Yi Jun looked at the planet below. I feel nothing. My nephew is dead, but other children will be safer now. That has to be enough. The Valkyrie will never threaten anyone again. Good. Make sure the galaxy knows why this happened. Make sure every species understands. I will, Kix promised. 3 months later, Kix returned to Research Station Daedalus 7. The station had been expanded. More families had arrived. More scientists. Life continued. He found Jiwoo in the greenhouse. The security guard was teaching Hana about earth plants now. She was 8 years old. The bruises on her arm had long since healed. Ambassador Kix. Hana ran to him. She was not afraid of aliens anymore. She understood that most were good. Only some were bad. Hello, Hana. You have grown. I am learning about tomatoes today. They are red and grow on Earth. Wonderful. May I speak with Mr. Jiwoo for a moment? Hana nodded and went to look at the other plants. Kix and Jiwoo walked to a quiet corner. I wanted to thank you, Kix said. Your actions here started something important. The galaxy is paying attention now. I did not want attention. I wanted Hana safe, I know. But because of what happened here, new laws were passed. Code Honey Badger. Any threat to human children triggers automatic council intervention. Not to protect humans, to protect other species from human response. Jiwoo smiled slightly. Code Honey Badger. I like that. The Velkari are now a protectorate, disarmed, peaceful. They teach their children about what happened, about the cost of cruelty. Good. I have a question. One that troubles me. The human response was so absolute, so certain. Is this something all humans share? Jiwoo looked at Hana. She was smelling a flower, happy, safe. Yes, every human has this. Some of us are trained to use it, but all of us feel it. When a child is threatened, we become something else. Something dangerous, even peaceful people like Tae-min, especially people like him. He had never hurt anyone. But when they grabbed his daughter, he fought. He would have died to protect her. That is what humans do. Kix made notes. His report was nearly complete. But he had one more thing to do. Later, he sat with Hana again. She showed him her holographic collection. Animals from Earth, she had been learning about many of them. This is my favorite, she said. She activated a hologram. A honey badger appeared, small, fierce, fearless. Why is it your favorite? Kix asked. Because it is like us. Like humans. We protect our families. We do not give up. We are small in the galaxy, but we are brave. Kix felt something like admiration. This child understood something profound, something the entire galaxy needed to learn. You are very wise, Hana, she smiled. Mr. Jiwoo taught me. He says protecting family is the most important thing. Before leaving, Kix finished his final report. It would be required reading for every species in the Galactic Council. Every diplomat, every military commander. He called it the Honey Badger Protocol, Understanding Human Protective Behavior. In it, he wrote the truth he had learned. Humans were wonderful allies. Creative, compassionate, cooperative, they shared knowledge freely. They helped other species grow and learn, but threatened their children and they became something else. Something unstoppable. They would sacrifice everything. Risk everything. Destroy everything necessary to eliminate the threat. The report ended with a simple warning. Befriend humanity and you gain loyal allies. Threaten their young and you face extinction. There is no middle ground. 1 year after the incident, the station held a celebration. Hana turned 9 years old. Children from several species attended her party. Human children, alien children, all playing together. Hana gave a presentation. She had been practicing for weeks. She wanted to teach the alien children about Earth. She showed them holograms, tigers, eagles, dolphins. Each animal amazed them. Then she showed the honey badger. The alien children recognized it immediately. Their parents had told them stories. The small Earth animal that represented human nature. This is a honey badger, Hana explained. It is small but very brave. It protects its family from anything, even animals much bigger and stronger. A young alien raised a tentacle. Are all humans like honey badgers? Hana thought about the question. She looked at her parents, at Jiwoo, at all the adults who had fought to protect the children that day. Yes, she said, when it matters most. When someone we love is in danger. Then we all become honey badgers. We all protect our family. The alien children listened carefully. They were learning an important lesson, one that would stay with them forever. That night, Jiwoo stood on the observation deck. The same place he had stood the night before the Velkari arrived. The 2 moons of New Scylla cast their silver light. Bora found him there. Thank you, she said. For everything. For saving Hana. For teaching her to be strong. She was already strong. I just showed her that strength can be gentle, and that gentleness can be strong, like a honey badger. Jiwoo smiled. Like a honey badger. Across the galaxy, the lesson spread. Species that had never heard of humanity before learned about them. Not from conquest, not from war, but from protection. From the absolute certainty that human children were safe. Pirates avoided human ships. Raiders never attacked human colonies. Even aggressive species gave humans respect. Not from fear alone, but from understanding. The humans would be your best friend, your most loyal ally. They would share everything, teach everything, help you grow and prosper.